What's up, people, and welcome back to another video. This is the second part of an interview I did with Keane Lewis, who's a professional footballer for Bengaluru FC in the Indian Super League. In this part of the video, Keane talks about what he does to improve even as a professional, his daily routine during season, and also at the end he gives his advice to young players. If you haven't seen part 1 of this interview, make sure you click the I button and go watch that and then come back here. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and comment down below what you think I should be asking. Also, if you like what you see, make sure you hit that like button. It will help me reach more professionals. And make sure you follow all of Keane's socials. Links are in the description. The first question is, how important do you think it is for footballers to build their digital presence, their online presence?
I think now all sports and the digital space is becoming a main for earnings for a lot of people. And like a majority of us get a lot of, you get endorsements, you get merchandise, you get different brands approach because of the number of followers you have, because of your online presence. So being able to develop that, one, if you're doing it by yourself, you need to be having some knowledge and having some background of how to go about it. If not, you need a really good media manager who can get that done for you.
Okay, so that leads me on well to my next question. If you ever got a social media manager, what would you expect from him?
I think, to give me stuff in intervals to either engage with my followers or ideas of how I can get more followers without having to pay. Also different and new innovative ways of how to connect with your fans and put meaningful information out on your pages. Because everyone gets a media manager. The main reason is, okay, I want more followers. That's the only thing. But in our field, you want organic followers. You don't want to be buying followers. So I think that requires your media guy to be a little creative. Come up with ideas and say, okay, let's try this out and this will work. Something like that.
That's very interesting. Okay, the next question is, what do you think of the digital side of football in general? So the training methods, the technology used. What do you think of that, and where do you see its future?
I think now coming with the ISL and foreign coaches and foreign staff, I think the training level has now it's comparable to European standards. The only thing where we would differ is maybe facilities, because obviously in India it's difficult to find space to build such a thing. Where you can build 3-4 grounds, you can build a big compound with all your back end office there and your medical teams and everything. But in terms of training, I think it's world class now with foreign coaches and foreign training staff and medical staff. The facilities we get in terms of on ground facilities is the best now.
That's very good for Indian football as well.
Yeah.
All right. That ends the section halftime tactics. So we move into the next section now. I call it recovering possession. So as the name suggests, we are coming back to real time now. Okay. So the first question is, what is the daily routine of a footballer during season?
So daily, basically everything revolves around when you have training. Typically, most of us have training in the morning. There are days when there's training in the evening. So if there's training in the morning, majority of us will get up, have a breakfast, go to train, come back, have lunch, sleep, go to the gym, dinner, sleep. That's basic routine. But then individual players have a little bit of their own way they go about their day besides those major components of training. Like I get up, maybe say if we have to leave for training at 8, I probably get up at 6:30, do a bit of yoga, meditation, have my smoothies, read a bit of the Bible, and then I go for training. And we have training. Training is regular, so you have to do your activation, and you have training. After training, if players want to stay, you can stay. You could train for half an hour, 30, 40 minutes, do whatever you want, shooting, free kick, crossing, and then we come home. I come home, have my lunch, go to sleep for a bit of a nap, and then evening get up after a snack, go to the gym for a couple of hours, and pretty much yeah, then come back, and then it's more relaxed. Call my family, call friends, watch maybe TV, watch a movie, something like that, and then sleep. That's the end for the day.
That's a very
That's typically how season looks. Yeah.
that's a very nice day, to be fair. But that leads me on well to my next question. So during a day, other than football, what do you do, like your hobbies or your other interests?
I like to travel a lot. So I want to see different countries and travel the globe. Uh, but that gives me time only in my off season. And unfortunately, this year we've not had a really we've had an off season, but more like sitting at home. And I'm not the kind of person who sits at home. Um, I mean, it's good to be home for a while, but I can't stay for home for months together. So generally, I spend time traveling, whether it's on my own, with friends, something or the other. But I try and go somewhere every off season, for a few days. Um, Besides that, I think the only things that I can pursue in season would be food. I'm quite a big foodie, and so the only other thing is I go out and try out new foods and go to new places which my teammates would recommend to try out some food. Um, in the house, there's not. I mean, when we're away from training, there's nothing really to do. I think where most of us are attached to Netflix or Amazon Prime or something on TV.
All right, all right. Okay, the next question is, what do you think about the level of the CFL?
But there are a lot of young players coming out from the CFL and people that you've probably never heard of. Given the clubs that are there, in the CFL, Tolly Guns, George Telegraph, um, all of them are, uh, really passionate about football. You realize that when you go to Kolkata, everyone's passionate about football. The only thing why they don't attract big players is because they don't pay that big. So generally, they have a certain budget, and whatever players they can get within that budget is whom they end up getting. But in terms of competition, it is tough. It's like in the CFL, you have to be on your game for every match. Otherwise, you drop points, and that could be the difference. That's how tough the CFL is.
All right, all right. The reason I asked that was because I feel like the lower leagues just below the I League are a little underrated. Personally, having experienced the Goa Pro League also, those are some really high level football that don't get the
Yeah,
attention they
that's true.
deserve.
Correct.
All right, the next question and the last one in this section. What do you do to get better as a player even now as a pro?
It's just putting in more work hours, but it's also putting in quality hours because they also say quality over quantity. So there's no point doing something the wrong way for hours and you're still doing it and you're getting results. You have to do it the right way. Individually, you can work only on ball work, you can work on your agility, you can work on your fitness. That's what you can do individually. I just go to the ground, I have a bunch of equipment which I have bought, which I would say that requires a little investment because everyone is like, no, we don't want to spend money. We'll just train on the ground. That kind of stuff. You have to invest in cones, balls, bands, that kind of stuff. Then you just got to go walk on the ground. And a lot of it comes either I speak to my physical trainers and they give me, a fitness routine or say something I'm lacking and you speak to them and they'll tell you what to do. Or you watch YouTube and, there are a bunch of videos of millions of people doing different kinds of things to improve shooting, sprinting, passing, all of that. So you just have a look at that and then maybe try implement it in on the ground. And
All right. The reason I asked that was because it's common that when you become a pro, you reach the top. So but you're saying that you still do need to improve every day, right?
yeah, you need to be at it every day. Some days you don't want to, but that's where your mentality comes in. Like think of a normal person. Some days they don't want to go to the job. If you're a person who doesn't like working 9 to 5, you probably never want to go to the job. But you're still going to it. You're still doing it. You're still going there, putting in the work, clocking in your hours. It's the same with any athlete. I think that is a misconception where you think if you reach the top, you got to stop working. I think one of the best examples for us is Chetan. He's 33, 34 now, but every day he comes into training. He wants to give his best. He wants to excel. He stayed after training with us for shooting and trying to improve whatever he can. And I think that just tells you, whatever age you are, wherever you have reached, there's still more space to grow and do better, excel. We look at only people who put in the work and excel. There are tons of people who are putting in the work and not excelling this year, putting in the work, not excelling the next year. But that's what I told you in the start. It's you may not excel at your first shot, you may not succeed, but you got to keep at it and be patient because at some point, you're going to reap the fruits of what you've sown at some point. Now, sport is not just a one-dimensional aspect where you just go put in hours on the field and then you're going to get the result. It's about what you eat, how you sleep, what you watch, your mood, your overall health, your mentality, what you understand, all of that kind of things. So it's not that easy anymore. So some people, yeah, must be putting in more hours on the field and not getting the result, but they must be not eating the right stuff. It's not just one aspect that you can focus on and that will take you all the way. It's a lot of aspects which involve you. I think education is something again which people neglect and think if I only play and put in the hours on the field, I will excel. But when you come to the pro level, to understand positioning, to understand tactics, to understand what's expected of you if you're a multi-position player, I think without education and without that understanding, without a basic IQ, you'll not be able to fulfill those tasks what the coach wants.
All right. That is really insightful, I must say. Okay, we end that section there and we move into the next section that I call through pass. Okay, and the through pass, as the name suggests, is looking a little further from now. So the first question is, after football, are you considering coaching and staying in the football line or a different line?
Ideally, I would want to be in coaching, uh, but I'm not sure whether I want to do that in India or abroad because I feel, given the ISL structure and given the league structure and given the facilities, it's quite tough to be a coach here. Um, I would prefer maybe being a coach somewhere abroad, given the opportunity. And for me, I don't have the fear of going abroad or starting afresh in a new country. But majority of the athletes I am with are all getting into coaching. So you have the footballers, say they are finishing their careers going into coaching. Plus you have regular guys who are doing their licensing because they're passionate about football and getting into coaching. So it becomes, I feel there are too many coaches right now, uh, and there are not so many teams going on. Plus, I want to get into a system where I am creating something of my own. So whether it's a club of my own or academy of my own, where they have all the facilities, where there's the entire system from grassroots to senior team. They have 2, 3 grounds. They have the entire setup like abroad. But again, for that, I need huge amount of money and a huge amount of space, which will be the biggest hurdles to overcome if I go down that path. I have my own small academy here in my city, where I partly coach and I partly manage. My other option is I just want to be doing, like I said, traveling is one of my hobbies, and I would be traveling the world and just do odd jobs in different countries. Stay a month or two in each country or each city and just do some jobs. I'm not like I want to come. I want to go to a company, work 9 to 5, earn more money. I'm fine just traveling the world, just earning enough to survive, kind of thing. So that's kind of what I would want to do if I'm not able to do it in my off season now.
All right. What is your opinion on the future of Indian football?
I think football is going to grow without a question. I think after cricket, I would say India watches football the most, or the younger generation plays football after cricket. In fact, in my area, we play more football and the people play more football than cricket. I think the only people who play cricket are more of the guys who don't want to run. But otherwise, everyone who wants to get an exercise, wants to get a workout, they're all playing football. In terms of the younger generation and in terms of the popularity of the sport, I think football is on the rise. And in terms of growth of the sports, we have to look beyond just the ranking, beyond numbers, because it's the entire process of how you grow players and how you have a system that enables them to play in school, play in college, play in clubs, and not just in grassroots soccer. They're just going to one academy and that's it, and then there's no other variation. They can't go anywhere else. They're just going there because it's close by. They're just going to an academy just because it's cheap. So that has to be put into focus. How do we improve players from the beginning and not wait till there's an opportunity? Because a lot of people are okay. We've notified a kid. We've noticed him. He's good. Let's just work on improving him. There are a lot of players who might not be so good when they're young, but they turn out to be better as they grow older. So not all kids blossom when they're young, but you have to nurture them all in the same way. And I think that's where we need to put our more efforts into the facilities and things about like nutrition, science, uh, how you develop muscle, or what age you go to the gym, what kind of exercise you should be doing before that or after that, what should you be eating, what not eating, that kind of stuff. So that would play a bigger role also in developing bigger footballers, which will in turn be the reason why football grows in India.
All right, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, a little more personalized question, and the last one in this section. Since you are going into the prime of your career at 27, what is one thing you are still looking to achieve?
I would say there are a few more things, but as of now, I would want to play for the national team and be a consistent player for the national team for a year or two. I think that's my next goal, because when I came back from the US, my goal was to play in the I League, play in the ISL, win the ISL, score goals in the ISL. And to some extent, all have been achieved a little bit. And then the ultimate one was to get in the national team, which is why I came back. But and then one of the reasons why I came back. But until now, I'm still in search for that position where I can play in the national team.
All right, all right. With the performances, it'll come soon. Don't worry.
Hopefully.
Okay, so we move into the last section, and this section is called Extra Time. And the first question in this section is, what advice would you give to young footballers?
I think I'm still a bit young to be giving too much advice. But I think even if they decide to go into the football path full time, they have to continue studying, continue developing their brain, because like I said, tactical understanding comes from exercise of the brain. And just by exercising your body, you're not going to be able to think fast, make decisions, all of that. That comes from, like what I say, exercise of the brain. And besides studying, other people don't know how to exercise their brain. So that would be one aspect. The other aspect I would want them to look into is food. That's a big aspect of your muscle development, your recovery, overall health, just staying away from sicknesses and injuries, that kind of stuff. And, so to learn more about the kinds of food to eat, the way you should prepare them, what time you should eat what, those things play a role in the future. The other thing is continue to put in the work. Whatever sport they are, and this is not just related to football, it's related to anything in life. You have to keep putting in the work. You want to raise in your salary, you need to put in the work, or you need to put in work to find another job which has better salary. You want to improve your post, you need to put in more work and do a better job. And that is something even I keep facing every day, because like I said, I want to travel the world. So every day I'm finding and thinking about, how to go about it. What is the way? In season, when you're in football, you have to think about ways of how you can improve, how you can stay fit, what things you should really eat, what you should not eat. Is this the time to eat it? Can I wait? Did I play a game? Did I lose enough calories? That kind of a deal.
All right. So with that, you answered my next question, which was for kids, how important is it to do their studies and sport together? So yeah, I see that you are a firm believer in that you're not sacrificing your studies.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I grew up. And I think that's the way majority of the Europeans grow up. The only difference is they're not as smart as us. So the Indians are, that's one of the God-given gifts that we Asians have, that we're really smart. Majority of us are really smart. So we don't face any problems there. So, but you have to look at it as an aspect as to an athlete's career is 10, 15 years max. You earn your money then. And yeah, when you're earning your money, you want to spend it, you want to go buy things, you want to shop, you want to travel, you want to buy cars, whatever your passion or hobby is. But you have to also think about when those 10 years are done, how are you going to sustain yourself? Are you going to be saying, okay, in these 10 years, I'm going to save enough money and then use it for after my career? Or you're going to say, I have to do something after those 10 years. And to do anything after those 10 years, you need some educational background, you need some educational qualification. That's when your career will come. Yeah, when you're 20, you're done with college or you're done with school and you can be like, okay, I want to stop. But after 10 years, what you're going to do with it, you need a degree to continue your education or start something or go for a job, whatever next step you want to take outside the field, you are capable of doing it.
All right. Well, that ends the interview, Keen. Thank you so much for taking time talking
All
to
right.
me. Thank you so much. I have learned a
Thank you
lot.
so much for having me.
I have learned a lot.
Hopefully,
And I hope
some
everyone watching
insightful
this,
things.
I hope everyone watching this also gets a lot to take from it.
I know. I mean, if I would get to know some things or from them as well, it would be really great. Of what to do in this lockdown, how I can go about maybe exploring my travel ideas or gain some new ideas.
All right. All right. So thank you for that and for a lot of the insightful information you have given me. And hopefully everyone else will
Welcome.
be
That's my pleasure.